Now, into the ticket office of Disneyland.
Oh boy, let's do this.
Don't think the CIA is going to be trying to hack your second-gen iPod.
I didn't think so. There might have been a lot of illegal music on there. I wouldn't doubt it. But, I mean...
You were supposed to bring death to the flagships, not join them.
That's a pill with two screens and it's open and you gotta swallow it.
iTunes is a constant source of embarrassment.
Behind-the-scenes camera crap.
I am ashamed to live in this world.
I am Manila. I can't do it anymore without laughing. I was going to do the whole thing. Welcome, everyone, to the Calling All Platforms podcast. I am your host, Wes, and I'm here with Landon.
Hello.
And Caleb.
Howdy.
And we are here to talk all things tech this week. And this week is one of those weeks where I guess you could call it scraping the barrel
Yes.
for some news.
Yes.
But I bet if we work hard enough, we can get Caleb to maybe rant about something.
Look, it's not even that hard. I actually have a couple of news items that
that you can rant about. See, he's on top of it. He cares about you, dear listener.
I bring
He's
my
like,
own material for these. Come on. You don't have to do anything.
I mean, we don't have to talk about Star Trek and in Picard or anything, or bring that up at all. So I just wanted to get you started. You know what I'm saying?
That's how you get me off topic. That's what.
Yeah, that's true. But I'll tell you what, we'll let you sit there and stew and fester for a minute.
Okay.
We're going to have Landon start us off today with the news that he wants to talk about. So, Landon, take it away, bud.
All right. Now, I do only have one thing of news, but it is something that is good to have happening when it happens in the future. So Apple started this whole, users started this whole right to repair thing, asking all these companies, hey, get your crap together and let us fix our devices that we own. And, it took a long time, but finally Apple started this they at least announced it first. I'm sure all these companies have been in making this work for a while, but Apple started it with their repair program that is at the moment quite limited, but is supposed to get larger down the road. We'll see if that happens. But Samsung also did this a while back. They announced that they are going to be working with iFixit to sell parts that they get from suppliers and then can fix certain parts of their phones. And Google this past week announced the same thing, that they are also going to be working with iFixit to be able to sell parts that are from Google for their phones that you, if you want to, can fix certain aspects of your phones. Now, I haven't seen anything that says exactly what is going to be fixable, but based on other companies and whatnot, we're expecting like batteries, screens, camera modules, different little things like that. Google has also said that they're going to have parts from the Pixel 2 and forward. Now, that's like a decent amount of phones. I mean, that's going back to, 4 years ago. That's pretty nice. So, good on Google on that one. They have not announced the date. They just said it will be coming later this year. Samsung also said that theirs is coming in the summertime, is what they've claimed. So I would imagine that both of these programs start about the same time because they're both going through iFixit. So the benefit of going through iFixit like that is you can buy the individual parts, but you can also buy little packs of parts, and they will come with the tools that you need to do the repair. And then also, obviously, iFixit is really good on giving you instructions on how to do that properly and safely. And so that'll be nice. Not that Apple won't. I mean, Apple's already said that have they said they're going to provide tools? I don't think they're going to give tools.
Yes.
Or are they?
Apple has said, so, I mean, to be clear, they have not said they're going to be offering what iFixit does, where, like, you can go buy a repair kit for the battery of such and such a device, and it'll come with the necessary tools. for like a marginal price increase or anything like that. But Apple has said that they will make tools available as needed for this stuff, which I suspect means that if you're going to need anything more than just a set of precision Phillips screwdrivers, you'll probably be able to buy like your security Torx drivers and not Torx, they don't use Torx, your security Pentalobe drivers and stuff like that from Apple. But to be clear, I expect these things to be very high quality, but insanely marked up, and probably don't buy them. Just if you want to cover all of your needs, just go to iFixit,
Yes.
buy yourself a Marlin screwdriver set, and you're good. You can take apart everything, including KitchenAid mixers. I was doing that earlier this weekend. So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll plug iFixit here. I got no respect for Apple when it comes to this kind of thing. Like, to be clear, Landon's all like, Apple announced this first, and yes, they did, but not because they wanted to. They announced it because of a combination of lawsuits that were won against them, class action lawsuits, and legislation being passed in various states and nations around the world that are basically forcing them to do this. And I think that Samsung and Google, well, they have not been specifically targeted like Apple has been, probably see the writing on the wall and are like, let's just get ahead of this. Let's do that. Which, good call.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't necessarily giving Apple credit like you said. I mean, yes, they did do this first, which is rare.
They
Usually
announced it first.
Yeah, usually it is Google or Samsung doing these type of things first, and then Apple begrudgingly, because of, like Caleb said, laws and whatnot, then they'll do it. But they've changed over the years. They're actually doing things, at a somewhat timely manner.
Yeah. I think this is a case of basically other companies didn't want to do this because they see that Apple has kind of set the trend here of forcing people to bring their devices to them if they want repairs and essentially just making them replace stuff when it gets broken. Apple set that precedent and made a lot of money doing it, and I think everybody else is like, ooh, we could also make a lot of money doing that. And so they were kind of just sitting back waiting to see how it would shake out for Apple, because this is the kind of thing where if Apple can't win this battle, ain't nobody else got a chance.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this is, Google and Samsung are they're just getting in early and going, you know what, just whatever, we're just going to make our official replacement parts available through iFixit. iFixit already has the infrastructure in place to sell these packs with all the tools and provide very comprehensive repair guides and stuff like that. We're just going to kind of bolster their offerings a little bit and call it a day. And honestly, that's probably good enough for the vast majority of cases. So it's good. I'm glad they're doing it. I'm glad that a whole bunch of people sued Apple and pushed for legislation in various jurisdictions. And, credit to iFixit. They've been fighting this fight for a very long time by trying to put power into the hands of the people. Credit to folks like Louis Rossmann, who has also been fighting this fight for a very long time, trying to put power into the hands of the people and also trying to take, these giant corporations to task via legislative and other government regulation means and stuff like that. It's good. I'm happy it's happening. I don't want to give any credit to Apple. A little bit of credit to Google and Samsung for, seeing the writing on the wall and not being so boneheaded that they were just going to stick their guns until the end of the world. So good on you guys for just that little bit of intelligence.
Yeah.
Again, I don't like Apple. I have a very love-hate relationship with Apple, listener. I'm not sure if you've gotten that impression over the past 5 years. But yes, this is one of those areas where I refuse to give them any credit because they don't deserve it. But a little bit of credit to Google because they're doing better than Apple.
Yeah, and I got to give also a little bit of credit to Google and Samsung for going through iFixit because,
yes,
I mean, if you go onto Google, even if you go onto Bing for that matter, because, it does search things, and you search for how to repair an iPhone or how to repair a Pixel or how to repair anything, the first thing you're going to find is an iFixit article. They've got the SEO down for that. So just partnering with them is smart. And it's going to be better in the long run, more user-friendly in the long run. So I like that.
And it consequently makes Apple look kind of stupid for announcing that they were going to do their entirely own thing. It's like, oh, wait, going through iFixit was an option? Why didn't you do that, Apple? Oh, it's because you want 100% of the profits for all of the parts and tools that you're going to be selling. I see.
And they also want to charge $50 per screwdriver.
Yeah, probably. They're so transparent with their villainy. Like,
that's true.
Be more subtle, guys. I don't know.
Apple has never been subtle.
That is so true.
Never.
Which is like one of their best characteristics, but also one of their worst. I don't know.
Yeah. So, but anyways, I mean, who knew that my piece of news would have got Caleb going on a rant? I mean, that's how easy this is, listener. That's just how easy it is.
Yeah. This is true. I have so many opinions.
Good thing you went to college to, express those opinions, very nicely.
It's true. That was my degree.
His degree was in ranting articulately.
They didn't know that's what they were teaching me to do, but that's what they were teaching me to do.
And it's paying the bills, right?
I mean, yeah. So I guess I won't complain.
Can't complain too much. We can make fun of you, but can't complain. Well, tell you what. Why don't you let us know what you want to rant about today? Put your degree to use.
You know what? We're gonna start chill. We're gonna start chill today. This is not anything that I have to announce or I have to rant about. Just an announcement. WWDC invites, quote unquote. Yeah, I mean, I guess there were some sort of invites sent out. WWDC for this year has been announced. It's going to be named Call to Code, which is, I don't know, generic marketing, whatever, who knows? Who names these things? Is that like their marketing partners or is that somebody inside of Apple? I got no clue. Anyways, Worldwide Developer Conference, Call to Code, will be held as a digital event starting June 6th with a keynote and running through June 10th. So just like last year, again, it's primarily digital, and there is no cost to attend the digital stuff. You just have to be a developer, so there is some cost in that regard. There is cost with having a developer account with Apple. But if you are a developer with Apple, have a developer account, then you're going to be able to attend the digital stuff, no cost. There will, in fact, be some in-person student and developer slots available. Just very limited attendance, and you're going to be able to gain attendance via a lottery. So you have to apply for it. You have to be selected. In the case of the students, I'm pretty sure that you have to win their little student, whatever it's called. I can never remember. Their student coding competition, whatever thing. But yeah. So there it is, WWDC. It's coming at the very beginning of June. Nobody's surprised about that because happens every year.
Yep.
From this, listener, you may be wondering what we're expecting. Not much. Different, anyways. The usual software updates, iOS, macOS, iPadOS, watchOS, tvOS, HomePodOS, NewtonOS. No, I'm just kidding. There's no NewtonOS.
Oh, man.
If they announced a software update for the Newton, I tell you what, I'd be all over that.
What do you want from this? There's a different question.
What do I want from it?
Yeah,
I want Newton OS. There it is.
There it is.
It would be kind of fantastic for me to be able to pull out this Newton. I think it's the message pad is the one that I've got. And, plug that into my Mac and have it update the software. I don't know what with, but it would be cool.
That would be.
One of the great things about the Newton is that it actually used just standard AA batteries for, power. So it's not like the batteries have imploded or anything in these devices over the years. You can just replace them. So because it's a repairable device. Weird. Wonder if we could get Apple to make some of those again. Now I tell you what I do actually want from this keynote is that we might get some announcements related to their Pro devices, right? Because it's their developer conference. It's for their professional users that actually like build their software for Apple's devices. So we might get some teasers or maybe some announcements for stuff like the Mac Pro or maybe an iMac Pro, updates to the Pro display, stuff like that. I don't think we should really hold out any hope for like new hardware launches or anything like that. They tend not to do that at WWDC, and they've kind of already announced all of the new hardware that we're expecting the first half of this year. So, yeah, but we might see, some indication of like what's the successor to the M1. They might talk about that a little bit. What version of the M1 Ultra or M1 Ultra X2 or whatever they're going to put in the Mac Pro. Like they might talk about that. And that's kind of where my interest would be. I'm more interested in the hardware portion of developing than I am the software portion because I can't code.
Yeah.
So there you go. But yeah, that's WWDC. It's coming. There you go.
Do you think that they'll announce a Mac Pro?
I think, well, they've kind of already announced the Mac Pro, like the Apple Silicon Mac Pro. They're all like, yeah, that's the only one that's left. It's coming. And
well, I'm meaning more like what they did with the trash can or the cheese grater where they show it off kind of, but then you can't touch it. You can just look at it. Yeah,
they might do that. Like, I think if they do anything with Macs, like actual Mac hardware, that would probably be what they do. And I suspect that'll take more of because honestly, in terms of hardware with the Mac Pro, what I'm hoping happens is that they're like, look, it's the exact same Mac Pro as the last version. It just has Apple Silicon in it now. And here's how that changes your user experience a little bit. Like, we're expecting bigger, beefier, cores. We're expecting more cores. We're expecting faster performance per watt, obviously, and stuff like that. But I'm still hoping it's got the 8 PCI slots in it. It still accepts discrete GPUs. It still has all of the bandwidth for those cards, add-in cards and stuff like that. Like, that's my hope, is that's what we get. It's the Mac Pro, just the new cheese grater, except this time it's got Apple Silicon in it. So we'll see.
Well, let's hope. I mean, you've been really good this year for wish lists, so
yeah.
I mean, you never know.
On the right track. I mean, some of them have come out of flipping nowhere. Like Blizzard,
yeah.
But okay, yeah.
Just saying.
All right. So this past week, also, AMD launched some new CPUs. This is kind of filling in the lower end of their processor stack. So they announced couple of weeks back that they were going to be launching these. They did in fact launch them, and they're selling at retailers for MSRP, which is always lovely to see in this day and age. So these processors are the Ryzen 7 5700X, the Ryzen 5 5600, 5500, and 4500. So the 5600 is obviously the quote-unquote non-X version of the 5600X, and it's cool. Like, it's a 6-core, 12-thread processor that has all of their latest 5000 series, Zen 3, Zen 3 cores and all the good stuff that you got from the 5600X, except it only costs $200 and it's downclocked a little bit, but it's still overclockable, so you probably can get pretty similar performance out of the 5600 as you would the 5600X for like $50 less. So that's good. This is kind of taking the place of the 3600, which in its time, that generation of processors, was honestly the best bang for your buck processor you could get. And the 5600 looks like it's pretty similar. Good, really good bang for your buck. The 5700X might be cool if you can't get your hands on a 5800X. So it's an 8-core, 16-thread processor, a little bit less powerful than the 5800X, but otherwise very similar performance specs to it. And so if you can't get the 5800X, but you really want the more cores because that works for your workload or whatever, then 5700X might make sense. It's a little bit cheaper than the 5800X too, but you can probably get the 5800X on sale for about the same price. I don't know. It's a little bit of gray area around that one there.
Yeah.
Then there's the 5500, which is a garbage. This is a return to their I believe this one's just quad core with 8 threads kind of thing, and it only supports PCI Gen 3, does not actually support Gen 4, which means it's not using Zen 3 cores, it's using Zen 2 Plus or whatever.
Geez.
So that's not cool, even though it says 5500. It makes you think, oh, it's using the same processor architecture as the 5600, right? No. And it's handily outperformed in gaming by the Intel 12100, which is an i3? Or is that an i5? I can't remember. But it's not one of their high-end processors, and it costs like $20 to $40 less than the 5500. So do not buy the 5500. And along those lines, the 4500.
Ooh.
No, just don't.
Even worse.
Just don't. Resist the urge. There are better purchases out there for you. So that's what we got from AMD. Some good stuff. Some, stuff. It's fine. And some crap. Yeah. So kind of spread the gamut there of exactly what we were getting out of them. And then there was Intel. Now,
yay.
Listener, you may be aware of Intel. They're a company. They fell upon hard times a few years ago, known as AMD, and it took them a very long time to recover from that. But they are now releasing 12th generation processors that are competitive with AMD's processors, as is evidenced by the fact that the cheaper 12100 outperforms the 5500. So, good stuff. Well done, Intel. You're pulling it around. And on top of all of that, not that long ago, okay, it's been a couple of years ago, they announced that they were going to be making discrete graphics processors. And in a day and age where obtaining a GPU for a reasonable sum of money is somewhat akin to like winning the lottery and getting struck by lightning on the same day.
Yeah.
That was a welcome bit of news. You know, we were all very happy when Intel earlier this year announced that finally their ARC GPUs, which is spelled ARC, not ARK, because Intel ARC ARK is an online repository of Intel processors. Don't get those two confused. Otherwise, you're going to have some very, very disturbing Google results that you're just going to be like, I'm so lost.
What? Right.
They announced that their Intel ARC GPUs were going to be launching this year. They were going to be coming in at the end of quarter one. Now, granted, that was going to be only in laptops, which is like, okay, sure. But they promised that desktop GPUs would be coming at the end of Q2. And then high-end workstation GPUs would be coming at the end of Q3. So they were all launching this year in that sequence. So quarter one ended just over a week ago. Listener, I'm not sure if you knew that. It ends at the end of March. And we did not, everyone was a little confused because Intel had said Q1, you get your ARC GPUs and laptops. People started looking around and trying to figure out where's the laptops with these GPUs. So turns out that they did launch in laptops, specifically a single Samsung laptop that is available in South Korea only.
Oh.
And the rest of the laptops with their GPUs have been pushed back to the end of Q2, which, does kind of beg the question, okay, what about the desktop GPUs? What about those high-end workstation GPUs that you promised us? Intel, gosh dang it, you were doing so good with 12th gen. Like, you had processors that were competitive, they looked really good, everyone was like, yeah, Intel, you've got it, yeah, some competition in the space, and oh yeah, GPUs. No, they were lying about the GPUs. I don't think they're real. I think they're fake. I think that Intel has been just teasing us this whole time. They're like, and actually it was all just supposed to be one giant April Fool's joke where they were going to this year just be like, actually, there's no such thing. That's why we named them Arc. We thought you would pick up on it because we already have a thing called Intel Arc. Why would we have two? That's so stupid. But,
you're giving them a lot of credit. That they would have thought of something like that.
Yeah. Well, they didn't actually admit to it on April 1st, so I guess they're pretending still that it's real. Maybe it'll be next year's April Fool's joke. I don't know. So I'm not happy with Intel. But what else is new?
Yeah.
And say it only lasted a couple months that you were happy with Intel.
I know. It's all like, yes, 12th gen. Haha, GPU's next. Oh. So yes, that's all of my my tech news for this week.
Oh man, that is something to rant and rave about. But let's move on. I do not have very much on Microsoft's side of news. I know as we have talked before the podcast when we hit record, it's kind of hard with trying to report on, say, like Windows 11 and stuff, just because the features that a lot of people want in Windows 11 are now showing up, which is nice, but there are features that you probably already are using in Windows 10. So, or a better, so that, and I don't have a computer that has, that will allow me to install Windows 11 without it, destroying the computer. But, so yeah, it's a little harder, but once I guess we'll see. I'll keep an eye on it to see if there's anything big or more for that and let you know. No new, things in Microsoft for, say new divisions or anything. I didn't see anything there. So we're going to go ahead and just move the section over to some gaming news. I figured I'd go ahead and mention this. That it is a new month, and Microsoft did announce some more titles for their Game Pass for April. Now, some of these are being announced as not really new to Game Pass, but maybe new to the cloud that's on there. So, for example, Dragon Age 2, that one is going to be cloud, so you're able to stream it wherever you go, as well as Plants vs. Zombies, Garden Warfare, Star Wars Squadrons, things like that. That's just coming to the cloud. But what's really cool, a lot of baseball fans, the next MLB The Show 22, that's going to be available to console and cloud. Big on that one is because that's actually a PlayStation game, Studios game, so of course that's going to be in there. If you like, also I'll go ahead and read out some of these. There's Life is Strange, True Colors, Panzer Corps 2, The Dungeon of, I hope I say this correctly, The Dungeon of Nehulbeck. I hope I didn't just screw that up so bad.
Fantasy names, aren't they great?
And Lost in Random. So if you are interested in those, you can definitely take a look. Those last two are PC. That the Dungeon of Nehulbeck, that one's a PC, and then Panzer Corps 2, that's just PC only. So that'll be going there. So if any of those titles sound interesting, if you have Game Pass, those will be available to you this month. I want to go ahead and talk about an update that came to the Xbox. Some of you that like to use HDMI CEC, that's basically between your television and whatever device you connect through HDMI, it's able to send commands back and forth. That's kind of what that is. The update for the April 2022 system update for the Xbox One, as well as the Xbox Series X or S consoles, they updated it to where you can now, when you can set it up to where if you turn your Xbox on with your controller, it will tell your TV to move to that input as well. So kind of cool, kind of nice, just kind of better control. So you don't have to reach for a TV remote to change inputs, things like that. They just added that to the update. And also, if you want to mute any Xbox OS sounds, you can silence the sounds if you would like. So you have the option to turn those off, turn those on. So if you're one of those people that need that, you got it. All right. And just like with spring coming, there's many different sales that are happening, and obviously Xbox is doing their spring sale on there. So you can get games that are up to, many games that are up to like 80% off. And then obviously anything new where you're looking about 35 to maybe 50% if you want to kind of dig in there. I always take a look at these. These are kind of really good sales, not only for software and the games, but you can also maybe buy Elite controllers, wireless controllers, headsets, things like that. Pretty big sales. I know it's the spring sale and then the holiday sale for most people, especially Steam users.
Yeah.
Steam sales. But this kind of goes in line with that. And they try to, I don't remember when Steam does their sales for their spring event. Do you remember, Caleb? Or they?
Oh, I can never remember. I get emails when it happens. It's all like, basically, I'll get the email that's all like, an item from your wish list is on sale. And I'll open up the email and it's just everything on my wish list. I'm like,
right.
Oh,
yeah.
Must be a sale going on.
Well, like every year, they always, all these other, as someone that's not Steam, they like to plan around Steam. So This will happen first or after the Steam sale. So they're always like, we need to get in there before the Steam sale. So
or just after. Yeah.
Yeah, take a look at that. You can get pretty decent deals on year-old games that maybe you didn't get before.
Yeah.
Like, say, Cyberpunk. I know that one, I believe, is 50% off right now. That'll be on there. The new, 2K22, if you want to hop into Borderlands 3, Destiny 2, stuff like that. So if you're looking into any kind of sale like that, I would suggest hop in there. And then maybe even check your other stores. Say, if you got a PlayStation, see when theirs are, and as well as Steam. I mean, definitely take a look at that because you can get some pretty sweet deals around this time for any kind of games that you're looking for. And if I'm not mistaken, you can also get subscriptions and things. And so Xbox Game Pass, they'll do their big deals for, $1 for 3 months or whatnot. Not sure if PlayStation's going to do anything now that they've announced their new one. I don't know if it's out yet, but you could probably get something to convert to the new one or something. So
yeah, I'm not aware of any announcements like that, but I also am not subscribed, so
yeah
might be the kind of thing where if you've got an account already and you go to upgrade or whatever, change over to the new subscription model for them, they'll just be like, hey, get this deal.
I know it's not out yet, but I was saying I know there's that tier where it'll just convert what you have to this the one tier. So I was saying if there's a deal, you could get a few months paid ahead to convert later.
Right.
So.
Well, no, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming that they're going to tell you about that stuff before they just they just flip the switch and everyone's subscription changes over to the new thing.
You would hope, and I'm hoping to.
I assume, but I guess I don't know for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of what's going on Microsoft's gaming side on there. Nothing going on with Blizzard too much. We've already talked about anything that's coming through for them. Not any too big of games right now. I kind of went through to see what new big games after Tiny Tina's here and Elden Ring. It seems like it's kind of not really big AAA ones are coming out recently. So.
Yeah, we had a couple of pretty high profile releases over the past, 4 weeks. So,
yeah, huge profiles.
Yeah, I mean Elden Ring, obviously.
Yeah,
Horizon Forbidden West, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is out, which from all accounts is Borderlands. Gearbox's. They have a name. It's not just the Borderlands franchise.
Yeah,
Gearbox's best game to date, which. I've played some Gearbox games. I can believe that. There's definitely room for improvement there. I think my biggest thing is I just don't share their sense of humor. And it's the same sense of humor in all of their games. So, if you don't think that's funny, these games are just not funny.
I actually heard someone, I don't know where I heard it from, but someone was talking about that was like, I don't play Borderlands because of the humor. But I love Tiny Tina because of the humor.
There you go.
And so yeah, so I thought that was interesting because they're like, I never really paid Borderlands much attention. Like, I get the humor, I understood it, but I wasn't mine. But then they're like, Tiny Tina, I can't get enough. So
okay, well, yeah, maybe that's why it's getting so much critical acclaim. Is everyone's all like, oh, the sense of humor is different this time.
Well, I think it's interesting because it's, I played a little bit here and there of it, and I think it's pretty funny because it's like you're on a D&D board, for the map, if you will, and you're going around, and all of a sudden they're like, hey, like one of the people is like, hey, you put a Cheeto, left it on the board. She's like, and her as being a dungeon master is like, no, that's the the Cheeto of Doom. You have to move it by this super
monster
punch.
Spawns in, and you have to kill it or something. Yeah. Okay.
By the way, that was a horrible thing. Like, I don't remember exactly what she said, listener, but it's in that vein, and so it's kind of. It's funny, and I hear a lot of people actually like the humor for that. So,
well, maybe I ought to give it a shot then, because that's exactly the type of GM that I am. So,
and so it's pretty funny. I did like the one where she can't, like, she was like, "Oh, by the way, you have this dynamite, and you need to use it to blow up this catapult." And the players are like, "You can't call it dynamite. We're in a fantasy world." And she's like, "Oh, we're going to call it, I can't remember what she called it." She's like, what did she call it? It's like some goop that she called it. Instead of dynamite, it changes to like goop, but it's like C4 night or something like that. C4 night on there, so it's clever humor. Or like when all of a sudden you're like, oh, we don't know where to go. There's nothing. She's like, all of a sudden a bridge appears. And, so it's, if you play D&D, I think that's it. If you've played D&D,
then
you would like it. So, and it is cross multiplayer, so cross play. So if you get it wherever, you can play it. I guess I didn't look this up, but I think you have to, for PC players, you have to get it through Epic Store, just like they did with Borderlands 3. I think, I could be wrong, but I think they did that thing again, because Borderlands 3 wasn't on Steam for a while because Epic paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Are you looking that up?
I'm going to Google that right now. While also mentioning that recently, over this past several weeks, a game that we did not mention had launched was Dying Light 2. It's about a month ago. That's a fairly high profile release. People are waiting quite a while for, so just mention that one. Yeah, and you're right. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is currently exclusive to the Epic Game Store. It's got a page on Steam with a planned release date coming soon. So you can wishlist it, and I'd recommend you do that instead of supporting Epic, because who supports Epic? Don't do that.
Well, a lot of us, now a lot of video games now, since the new Unreal 5 was technically
released.
That's
true, actually. So, I mean, should we mention that? I suppose that's worth mentioning as well, because it feels like it's big news, but I suspect it kind of isn't. So, listener,
I guess we can.
Long ago, we got, like a couple of weeks ago, we got a quote-unquote announcement of the next Witcher game coming from CD Projekt Red, which, as a fan of The Witcher 3, I'm obviously fully on board and extremely interested in what this game ends up being, because The Witcher 3 is just, I don't know, like probably the greatest Western RPG ever. And they didn't manage to beat it with Cyberpunk 2077, that's for sure. And, none of the other RPGs that have come out since then have really even come close to touching it. Witcher 3 is just a masterpiece. And so, I'm interested in the next follow-up to The Witcher, but they didn't actually do anything with the announcement aside from like, hey, we're working on the next Witcher game. Oh, and by the way, instead of using our own engine like we used for The Witcher 3, Cyberpunk, and Witcher 2, which are all built off of the same base engine, I think Witcher 1 used something different. They're all like, it's actually going to be built on Unreal 5. So that was the announcement. I was like, that's nothing. That's stupid. Come on. Like, what the heck? And then this past week, Square Enix comes out and is all like, oh, we have a big game announcement for you. The next installment in the Tomb Raider franchise we're working on it. They didn't give us any details. They didn't tell us anything about the game, where it's going to be set, who the characters are going to be, like how many years after Shadow of the Tomb Raider is it set. Nobody's got any idea, but oh yeah, it's being built on Unreal 5. I'm like, So Epic paid both of these big studios and publishers a giant truckload of cash to announce that they're using Unreal 5 in their game. That's what happened there. And I kind of, that bugs me. It rubs me the wrong way. Not a fan of that style of quote unquote game announcement. It's all like, yes, we're working on the next Witcher game. Of course you're working on the next Witcher game. Cyberpunk 2077 bombed like so hard. Like, guys, that game ended up in the center of the earth. It bombed so hard. I don't know what you thought we were expecting. Obviously you're moving on to something else.
Yeah.
Like, we all know that.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so I guess, I mean, that's there. And that's honestly probably where their moneymaker is, right there, from the licensing from that. So, I guess, I don't know for sure, but I'm sure Fortnite's bringing in lots of money too. So.
Oh yeah, no, Fortnite makes them a bunch of money. Licensing on Unreal being kind of everywhere at this point makes them lots of money. And don't get me wrong, Unreal 5, from what we have been shown, looks astoundingly good.
Yes.
And the development kit for it has been available for a little while now, and I've watched a few YouTube videos from developers that are not actually making games with it. They know how to, develop for games, and so they just pulled down the engine and started playing around with the tools and stuff like that. And one of them, he had this demo set up to demonstrate just how insane the rendering technology is for this, that allows it to render, to programmatically alter the number of vertices in a solid shape in the game world's design, or in the game world itself. Because that's one of the things that Unreal 5 does, is it allows you to use a single extremely high detail model, and then it programmatically scales down the number of, what are they called? Voxels or something?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't code. But it just scales down the number of pieces that the model is made out of as you zoom away, as you pull back from it, so that the scene can still render out in a very, productive, quick fashion, but you don't have to have a whole bunch of different models for it. One that's really high detail for when the player is close to it, one that's medium detail for when they're a little bit further away, and one that's low detail for when they're standing on the other side of the room, and stuff like that, which was the kind of development that game studios had to do before. And Unreal 5 just does that for you, automatically. And so he built this scene up where he had just a bunch of balls that were made up of just millions of little tiny triangles. And he put 11,000 of these balls into a giant grid and zoomed in on one so that you could see, yes, this is extremely detailed. And then zoomed out so that you could see, yes, there's 11,000 of them, and it's all the same model. He changed nothing, and it was running at 40 FPS or something like that. Just a constant 40 frames per second. And he's like, Unreal 4, this would have crashed my computer. So progress is being made. And yeah, so Unreal 5 looks really cool, and we're going to need to see some of these big games The Witcher or Tomb Raider come out so that we really get to see everything it's capable of. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm bashing on the Unreal folks and the work that they've done, because it looks really nifty. I just don't like Tim Sweeney and his whole vibe.
Yeah.
He feels too much like Tim Cook for me to like him, if I'm honest. So
yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
So yeah, that's my beef with Epic. It's not even so much them or their products as much as it is their CEO and his vibe, and the way that you can tell his vibe affects how they monetize some of their products, like Fortnite. So yeah, not a big fan of Epic, but Unreal is cool, and I'm sure we'll see some really cool games made with it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how Caleb used to be with Microsoft and Steve Ballmer.
Yes, very true.
I think that wasn't just him, though.
Oh, no, that was a lot of people.
Like my issue with Steve Ballmer was the effect he had on the company. And it turned out it was like, I didn't know at the time that my issue was just with Steve Ballmer, but then he left and Microsoft has been progressively getting better ever since. And I'm like, oh, it turns out it was just Steve Ballmer
Yes.
and the culture that he fostered in the company.
Yeah.
And I think that, it probably is my issue with Epic. My issue is with Tim Sweeney and the culture that he fosters in the company.
Yeah.
There
Makes
you go.
sense. Well, we got a bonus rant for you there, dear listener.
There's a couple of surefire ways to get it. Apparently mentioning Star Trek, that one works. Mentioning Intel, mentioning
And
Epic
Steve
Games,
Ballmer.
or like Apple and Right to Repair. Like there's a few things, and we've hit on most of them except Star Trek in this episode. So there you go, listener. Got a solid helping today.
Yeah, and that's pretty much all my gaming news I wanted to talk about there. So I guess that's the end of the episode, unless Landon has one more thing.
No, I don't.
Oh, that kills the streak.
Yeah.
Right there. Had a pretty good streak. It was, 3 in a row?
Good run there for a little while.
Good run. We just need Nintendo to come out with more little mobile games for you. That's what we need.
They've done a good job. I really like Super Mario, like the Mario Kart is pretty fun. Every now and then I do still play Super Mario Run. I don't play that as often anymore. I play Mario Kart on a somewhat regular basis.
Gotcha. Still fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listener, we appreciate you listening to the end of the episode. If you did want to get a hold of us, you can at our social media platforms or callingallplatforms.com. You can also check out any videos on YouTube at Calling All Platforms Tech or Calling All Platforms Gaming. All right, dear listener, have a good week.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Calling All Platforms is a production of Supporter Sound Studios. To learn more about how you can support the podcast, go to www.patreon.com/callingallplatforms.